Hi, everybody. My name is John Piippo. I'm from Redeemer Fellowship Church in Monroe, Michigan. And I want to speak especially to pastors and Christian leaders in churches on how to lead a meeting. So here's my understanding of how to lead a meeting. You begin the meeting by, you can have some prayer, of course. You can have some of that, and you can have extended praying at the end, and that's always good. But when the prayer is over, if you have an issue that needs to be discussed or a topic, or even if you don't have a topic, what you do is you ask the people in the meeting, what is God saying to you about our church? Or what is God saying to you about this issue that we're talking about? And then you look around, if you're in a circle or you're at a table, you look around and you can say, Jenny, what's God saying to you about this? Now, whether she has something to say or not, we want to hear what God is saying to her, or the lack of it, because what we're doing is developing a discerning community and getting away from the dreaded top-down leadership in churches. So, as people are sharing what they believe God is saying to them, you, as the facilitator of the meeting, you're taking notes. Jenny believes this and so on. And you're withholding your own self, your own comments. Uh, actually, commenting on these things seems inappropriate because we're going to want to know, what is God saying to you, the facilitator of the meeting, about this subject, or what is he saying to us as a church? And you're taking notes, and you're just letting that soak in. You're hearing from the people. And look, this, of course, this gives the people ownership themselves of the direction that the church is going in, but it involves them in the activity of God, because the basic question is not what we are thinking, but the basic question is what God is thinking about these issues. And this is new territory for a lot of people. They're so used to top-down leadership. They're so used to attending meetings where a facilitator or a pastor or a leader starts to say, I think this is what we should do, here's what we should do, get on board, and so on. Now, if Jenny, for example, says, I believe God is saying we need to do this, or we should do this, or God is saying this to us, then I want, as a leader, or facilitator, I want to involve Jenny on another level. Jenny, God is speaking to you about this. I think he may be speaking to me and others too. But because of the weight that you feel, the weightiness of the issue for you, of what God is saying, I want you to consider and pray about being the leader of this part of this thing that God is showing to you. So we dispense leadership to the people who have discernment, and that gives them ownership. Yeah, but the big issue is God is saying this, and what is he doing in our midst? And so we're going to hear, and then we're going to follow. So discern what God is saying, and do this corporately. I mean, you need to know as a leader what decisions you can make unilaterally and what you need to make corporately. But we're involving the leaders in this. We're hearing from them first, and we're not trying to push some position of ours. And we're not trying to convince people of our position, whatever it may be. At that point, you'll lose people's hearts, and it can become potentially even divisive, and maybe even produce some bitterness. So in some ways, I think for pastors and Christian leaders to lead a meeting is simple. Number one, ask the people what they believe God is saying to them. Number two, take notes about that. Number three, discern. And then out of that discernment, a following of Jesus comes.